All right, you guys, let's talk. So in this video, I want to talk about exercising your pauses a lot more, because I feel like it's a super useful tool that everybody should keep in their toolbox. And it's something I've been actively using a lot lately, and it's been super helpful, especially with helping me strengthen the areas I felt like I was weak in character-wise. So what I mean by pause, learning when to just pause, slow life down. Pause when it comes to your conversations with people or in your conversations with people. Pause when it comes to social media. Pause when it comes to family issues. Pause when it comes to yourself and your own destructive thoughts and habits. You got to learn when to pause. Like, let's go to conversations real quick, right? When you're communicating with somebody, you're communicating to comprehend. So if you don't pause and actively listen with the intentions to comprehend so you can respond appropriately, what is the communication for? Because communication isn't really the key. It may be the door, but the key to open it is actually comprehending what's going on in their conversations. And sometimes we're hearing things from people or thinking they're saying things that they're not even saying, or we mistake their intentions in the conversations because we don't know how to pause. We don't know how to pause. Just slow down. You can't see things and hear things clearly if you don't slow down. Now, pausing for social media. Right now, I'm on a social media break, right? It's like a log off, log on type of thing, but I've been on a social media fast for a little over a month now. Super refreshing. I'm not going to even lie, but I had to log back on because I got booked for an event in Vegas, so I had to post about that. So while I was on there, I posted, some other things, but it's not a lot of time going into like scrolling, engaging, and stuff like that. So it's a log on, log off type of thing. I had to redirect my energy and focus on what I needed. I needed me at that time. And a lot of the times, like being a public figure, sometimes you overextend yourself and you give people what they want and you kind of forget about what you want and what you need. So I needed me. So I had to pause from social media so I could, become a little bit more structured in my life, what I wanted for myself, and put certain things into place. So I had to redirect that energy and give myself what I needed during this time. So pause from that. A lot of people are too distracted by what's going on social media. We're in the age of information, right? So it's a lot of information. We're in information overload right now. Sometimes you don't even know if your thoughts are really your thoughts because you're consuming so much information. But you got to get active, man. All that stuff is distracting you from getting active. A lot of people, they sitting and they listening a little bit too long, okay? And they get caught up in other people's subjective truths and they take it as the truth or the way, but everybody's way of getting to where they're going is not going to work for everybody. So regardless of these superlative statements that people make to draw you in, you have to learn how to start addressing everything with more skepticism and learning when to pause from social media or information overload. All right, pausing for family issues, man. When it comes to our bloodline, we think we're obligated to take on things that we're not obligated to take on. And we'll overextend ourselves in those areas because we feel obligated to do so. But anything that's constantly taken away from you, and there's no reciprocity, you're not being replenished in any shape or form, you have to learn when to pause and take care of you. Pause and withdraw. Pause and withdraw. Also, learning how to pause when it comes to yourself. All right? We got to learn how. There's certain things about ourselves that the world taught us or conditioned us to hate, right? The beliefs about yourself, more than likely not even your beliefs. You took on somebody else's beliefs about you, and you repeated those thoughts and those beliefs to yourself for so long that you think is the truth. And it's certain parts about your body that you hate. It's certain parts about you that you hate. But if you want to get better in those areas, you got to learn how to nurture it with love. Love those things to light. I'm gonna give you a small example, right? Certain body parts that you probably hate. You probably look at yourself in disgust. You probably talk stuff about yourself, but you got to learn how to rub on those parts and love on those parts and be like, hey, baby, it ain't about like being complacent and settling for like where you at, but more so like you got to treat yourself better. You really do, because you set the tone for how other people treat you. So you got to learn how to treat yourself better, talk to yourself better, pause from your own destructive thoughts and behaviors. Like, pay attention to your patterns, man. Pay attention to your patterns. And why you keep attracting certain things that you don't desire to attract. And you have to change that. You have to work on that. Become more self-aware. Get to know yourself. Pause. Sit still. Meditating truly, truly works for me. Like, I just sit. I don't feel like I have to do stuff all the time. I just sit. I be present. I look around. I'm grateful for the things that I see, the things that I'm capable of doing. Even if I'm not exactly where I want to be yet, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be where I'm at, and I'm going to be grateful for where I'm at. Because I can't expect God to give me more to be ungrateful for. If I'm constantly complaining, you got to be mindful. Where your energy go, that's what you attract the most, right? So whatever you count the most, I mean, if you count your problems more than you count everything that's going great, you could count on attracting more problems. In other words, you can count on racking that up. So, man, just pause. All right, really exercise that pause. Somebody say something to you that's offensive. Pause and ask yourself, do I want to see this grow? No? Okay, bam. I'm not going to feed it. If we start asking ourselves more questions, and we get to do that when we pause, it really slow that moment down. We get to ask ourselves more questions. And then we realize we go come to the conclusion that none of this stuff worth it. It's not even worth putting your energy toward. So don't put your energy toward it. Even if it's a temporary W, make you feel good for that moment, it's still an L. You just lost energy. You just let somebody take you out of your space for a moment and could control you. You gave them a little bit of power, so you still lost. All right? Pause. Still on a social media break. Need to figure out what I want to do as far as like this channel, man, because I be all over the place. The reason why I'm all over the place, even though it's still a certain direction that I'm going in, meaning like I care more about like the mental, the emotional, and the physical, I still want to figure out like exactly what I want to do instead of making promises on what I feel like everybody else want from me. You know what I mean? So maybe videos just still be at random. I don't want to force material. I want to force myself to talk to this camera all lonely and stuff. I don't want to do it. I want to do it. So I have to do things when I feel like I'm in the space for. For the most part, I do it that way. It's just I have to steer away from making promises about what's going to be a part of this content, because sometimes I just don't want to do it. So yeah, I'm going to pause a lot longer and figure that part out. But I hope y'all been doing well, man. Just give y'all a quick update on me. I dropped a new project called Reading the Room. Apparently the old heads is needed right now in the game. So I dropped a new project. Music more so is like therapy for me. But if you guys want to tune in, it's definitely you guys to tune in. I feel like it's selfish for me to just strictly keep it to myself. So it's called Reading the Room. It's streaming on all music platforms right now. All right.
Let me get up in my feelings. There's some shit I've been through that's been hindering my healing. Can't find happiness or joy. I know the devil's stealing everything that makes it worth living. Ay.